America's #1 national television program on Asia.
Hello, I'm Yue-Sai Kan. Welcome to Looking East. Malaysia is a potpourri of sights and sounds. Tonight we'll take a look at the impressive array of traditional festivals, pastimes and sports that Malaysians indulge in. They all reflect the colorful and diversified character that is Malaysia today. At first glance, these scenes of families and friends playing together might look familiar. There's people jogging, kids eating ice cream, dads showing their sons how to kick a ball. It could be the neighborhood park in your town. Actually, it's Lake Gardens in Malaysia's capital city of Kuala Lumpur, and a closer look reveals some obvious differences. Sepak Raga is a game that has its origins in the early history of Southeast Asia. The basic idea is for a team to keep the tightly woven rattan ball in mid-air for as long as possible without using the hands. It's a game of considerable skill and excitement. Even more exciting, though, is sepak takraw, played with a net stretched across the middle of the court. Sepak takraw is kind of like volleyball, except that no hands are allowed and the rattan ball is hard on the head. Each team consists of apit kanan, or right inside, and apit kiri, or left inside. A tekong, or captain, stands behind them. The game begins when the right inside tosses the ball to the captain, who kicks it to the opponent's side of the net. It's a game of quick dives and head-over-heels action. Silat is the Malay version of Kung Fu, practiced in the Malay archipelago for hundreds of years. It has many styles and branches. The word Silat is associated with a series of movements in which the combatants demonstrate gracefully how to defend themselves. Silat today is more of a dance form than an effective exercise in personal combat. Some of the action seems as improbable as the fight sequences from a martial arts movie, but body contact isn't the point here. Performed on ceremonial occasions, especially in the presence of Malay royalty, the fighters combine highly stylized movements from fencing, wrestling, and boxing. It's style and grace that counts here, not who gets to kick who in the head. Several games I saw being played at this weekly festival looked very familiar. It took me a minute, and then I realized that Gala Panjang is the Malaysian version of a children's game called Monkey in the Middle. The girls in the end zone are trying to keep the others from escaping the middle. Another game that seemed very familiar is called 5 Stones, similar to jacks. 5 small pebbles, shells, or tiny pillows filled with sand, rice, or seeds are used as tokens. The idea is to toss and pick up the 5 tokens in various patterns. At first glance, it looks easy. It isn't. The first thing that catches your eye about the game of Kongkak is the unusual board. A traditional Malay pastime of unknown origin, the Kongkat board is divided into 14 holes. The object is to collect as many seeds as possible. Nowadays, marbles are used instead of seeds, but the concept of the game is unchanged. The player with the most marbles at the end of the game wins. Some of you may be familiar with this next game because it was popular here in the United States in the 20s. More than a pastime, Mahjong is an obsession in Malaysia among the Chinese. We chanced upon this first annual Mahjong tournament at the Merlin Hotel at Kuala Lumpur. There is no prize given to the winner at this shootout. They come here for the pure joy of competition. Mahjong, a game originated in China, is played by 4 competing individuals using 140 tiles made of either plastic or ivory. The mahjong deck has 8 suits such as bamboo, circles, and Chinese characters. The rules of the game, simply put, are something like gin rummy. The idea is to make a hand of 3 of the same suit or number. Although gambling is illegal in Malaysia, I do know a lot of Chinese who play it for money, in secret. Thanks to the British, cricket was a very popular sport in Malaysia at one time. But cricket's time has come and gone, and soccer is king now. In fact, soccer is Malaysia's most popular sport. Soccer stars are heroes. The sports pages are filled with their exploits, and children of all ages aspire to soccer greatness. Badminton is not well known as a competitive sport in America, but next to soccer, is the most popular of all sports in Malaysia. The professional tournaments are closely followed by the national press and television networks. The top players are treated much like America's football and baseball stars. Remarkably, Malaysia's top badminton attractions all come from one family, a Malaysian sports phenomena. The Sedek family has become almost legendary. Miss Spoon as a soloist, and Razif and Jelani as a doubles team have won just about every major international title in world-class badminton. I visited with Razif and Jelani at the national training camp and asked them why all the Sedek brothers play so well.
In fact, her father pushed us quite hard, but we feel that we are happy in the sense that we are somebody now.
The Sedek brothers are indeed somebodies now. Badminton is played extensively throughout Southeast Asia, and as champions, they have achieved great celebrity status. I talked with Punch Gunalan, coach of Malaysia's national badminton team, about the success of the Sedeks.
I consider them one of the most popular in Malaysia at the present moment. They have won many awards, national awards for sports. And I must admit, this family is unique in itself. 5 of its sons, 5 of the Sedek families are in the Malaysian national team, which I think should be in the Guinness Book of Records, and it will be soon.
Razif and Jelani are so strong that they practice against 4 opponents in the torturous pressure drills. Besides sharpening reflexes, these sessions help build endurance. Badminton has become a professionally recognized sport in Malaysia, with prize money awarded to winners of major tournaments. But it is not easy money. Badminton's skill and endurance exacts its own price. The Sedek brothers still train at least 6 hours a day. It's obvious that badminton ceased to be a pleasant backyard pastime for these guys years ago. But what about the future?
The prize money is good now, so I think we have to play to get some money, especially with big prize money right now. So our target is to win as many tournaments and to get more money for ourselves for the future. Yeah.
Stay tuned. When someone says go fly a kite in Malaysia, they are serious. It's kids' game for adults when we come back. Kite flying and top spinning are 2 time-honored arts on the east coast of Malaysia. They are not child's play, but sports of considerable craft and skill. According to Malaysian history, kite flying dates back to the 15th century and the reign of the Sultan Mahmud of Malacca. But it is believed that kites were actually brought from China as early as the 14th century. These kites dance and swoop, almost as if they had a life of their own, kept aloft on the winds from the South China Sea. But the real art of kite flying lies in the construction of the kite itself. Yusuf is a kite master who has made kites all his life. We visited him in his workshop near the city of Kota Baru. To make a kite, you first use thin strips of dried bamboo. It must be slowly dried in the sun so that there is a spring to it. Once the bamboo is shaped, Yusuf ties up all the bamboo lengths to the rigid backbone of the kite. The string he's using is cut from the trunk of a banana tree. Then Yusuf cuts a piece of wax paper in the shape of the kite he's creating. Then he draws the pattern for the kite and cuts it out. Patiently, he pastes the design onto the frame. It takes Yusuf a week to make a kite. This is a family business, and everybody helps out. Yusuf will make about 100 Malaysian dollars on each kite that he sells. In competition, kites are judged for the beauty on the ground and their sway in the air. But for Yusuf, his greatest reward is seeing how beautifully his kites soar in the wind and sun of the Malaysian sky. Mohammed bin Mamat is a 54-year-old master of tops whom we met in another dusty town on the east coast of Malaysia. Using primitive tools and working outdoors, Mohammed uses a hardwood to shape the round base of the top. Once the wood base is formed, a large piece of lead is added to the top. The lead adds weight and balance and makes it possible for the top to spin for long periods. After adding the point on which it spins, the top is ready to go, except for a special ceremony performed by a local magician. Malaysians in the countryside believe that a man like this, called a bomo, using incense and these incantations, can help a top to be a contest winner. Mohammed's top looks just like any other, but he told me that he often wins in competition because of the good fortune that comes to his creations from this ceremony. At a top spinning contest, the rope that will be used to provide the spin has to be prepared using a special lubricant. Then it is carefully and very tightly wound around the top. The player, using one graceful, powerful motion, spins the top out of his hands. It is placed on a special stand where the balanced top can spin undisturbed for almost 2 hours. In the competition, the judging is quite simple. The longest spin wins. One morning, during a recent visit to Kuala Lumpur, we went to observe a bird singing contest. Judging from the crowds that gathered to watch the event, one could say that the Malaysians take the contest quite seriously. Certainly, the judges do. And the birds, of course. These pretty creatures must sing constantly for at least 3 hours. And not only that, they must move their wings and bodies in such a way as to impress the judges. These men must have keen eyes and ears, because I certainly have no way of telling these creatures apart, much less appraise which is the best performer. Contests like these can be found in towns all over Malaysia and are often sponsored by national organizations. The Songbirds Association is responsible for this affair. These birds are all native to Malaysia. They are grouped together in these sheds so that they will sing more vigorously.